from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, CSN Houston brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight, the Astros begin a brand new homestand of 6 games, 3 against the Rangers, 3 against the Minnesota Twins. Good evening, everybody. The battle for the Silver Boot resumes tonight. Bill Brown and Alan Ashby, along with Julia Morales, to see if the Astros can continue their winning streak. They have beaten the Rangers 5 straight times, Ash.
6-3 overall on the season. The Rangers got the early edge, but the Astros have come storming back, and they've done it with the big bats. That's really been the big difference. 28-14, the run scoring in that most recent 3-game series against the Rangers. And these are the reasons. You get some of the big bats, John Singleton, Chris Carter, swinging it well. Carter had a couple of home runs in one ball game. Of course, he's done that multiple times this year. Even Ravi Grossman, a part of the home run act for the club. But scoring the runs, really a big difference. 14 runs in 3 games for the Rangers. Pretty pedestrian. 28 for the Astros. Exceptional. And you'd love to see them keep that trend going.
Last night in Philadelphia, very disappointing for the Astros as they lost that game 6-5 after leading 5-1. They got swept in the series, but Chris Carter just continues to improve at the plate. He hit a couple more homers in the game last night.
Take Carter back to July 1st, roughly, and he has turned things around enormously. His numbers, 184 leading into that point, the first couple of months of the season. Since then, he has tuned it up to the 315 mark. The slugging percentage just way up there, and the home runs have been coming. Chris Carter has been a house of fire here recently for the Astros, and you look in that Philadelphia series, and he was dynamite. Just continues to swing the big bat, and this is in the absence of George Springer. John Singleton, a part of the lineup, has also been swinging it well, and no doubt helping Carter in this regard. But this bat can go a long way, not only tonight in this series against the Rangers, but for the season and for years to come, you hope, when you look at Chris Carter.
Coming up, give them the boot. So the Astros have pummeled their interstate rival as of late and given Ron Washington a case of the Grumpies. Can Chris Carter and the Astros offense take another giant leap toward the Silver Boot? We'll find out straight ahead. Sportsnet is presented by Jack in the Box. Right now at Jack in the Box, try Jack's Spicy Chicken Club Combo for just $4.99 plus tax. And by AT&T UVerse TV. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT. Mobilizing your world. Coming up, over easy. It's been a bull market for the Astros starting pitching this summer, with a much improved Brett Oberholzer leading the pack in patience and perseverance. Can he continue his season of redemption against the Rangers? His first pitch is straight ahead.
Hello, Jason. Vino.
Back to Minute Maid Park, where the Astros will host the Texas Rangers for a 3-game set, just a couple days on the road. And the Astros find this a very, very important series as they face the Rangers the first time in a while, but they are coming off a sweep of the Rangers. That was the last time they faced them. They've beaten them 5 straight times, and they look to make it 6 straight today. Bo Porter talking before the game. Hey, Orbit. I haven't seen you in a while. What's going on? Orbit, everybody. What's going on, Orbit? Oh, well, okay. I can explain. So, the Phillie Phanatic and... Oh, I broke your heart? Orbit, wait. Oh, no. Okay. Well... Don't ever hang with the mascots on the road. That's something I'm going to have to live with. I'm going to have to make that up to Orbit. Let me compose myself. A big series coming up this weekend. See if I can do this. The Texas Rangers here. Bo Porter talking before the game, saying that it's very important that they show some progress over having success over teams like the Texas Rangers. They hope to do that today. Guys up in the booth, Brownie and Ash, I don't know if I can go on. Now my heart's broken. I broke Orbit's heart.
We will explain to Orbit that you were kidnapped, in fact, last night. But here it continues. Lots of stuttering happening, and it's lighting up Twitter. So Orbit will get over it. The Astros take the field on a big and bright Friday night. What do you think of that?
All I can say, Brownie, is I understand Orbit's pain because, I think it's obvious to everybody he was madly in love, and now, well, I'm sure he's still in love. He's just hurting right now. That's all.
We've all been there, and he'll be stronger for this. Brett Oberholzer warms it up now before facing the Texas Rangers. The Astros have a lead of a game and a half over the Rangers in the standings in the AL West. And Oberholzer has really fired it up capably and has won his last 2 starts. The Astros have won his last 4 starts, and he's had quality work in all 4 of those. Shooting for win number 5 of the year tonight. The 25-year-old lefty tunes it up right now. Ron Washington's Rangers had the day off yesterday while the Astros were toiling in Philadelphia. They go with right fielder Shin-Soo Choo, shortstop Elvis Andrus, DH JP Arencibia, third baseman Adrian Beltre, first baseman Adam Rosales, center fielder Leonys Martin, catcher Giovanni Soto returning from the disabled list tonight, Rougned Odor at second base, Daniel Robertson in left field.
I got Brett Oberholzer. You mentioned, Brownie, that he's been able to give the Astros a chance to win their last 4 that he's gone to the mound. That dates back to the Boston Red Sox, July 12th. He has helped the Astros beat the Red Sox, A's twice, and then Toronto Blue Jays. So some very good clubs, and you see the overall numbers: .417 the improving ERA, and a 4-7 mark overall.
He's been in a nice groove, and what he's done so well, Ash, is limit the damage. Sometimes in early innings he might give up a run in the first, but then leave a couple of men on base and get out of that first inning with no more damage. And it's Choo who gets things started. Choo had .238, 10 homers, 36 runs batted in. A very disappointing season after signing a 7-year deal as a free agent over the winter. He takes strike 1 here, but to be fair about it to him, he has played with a left ankle injury much of the season. And he shoots a line drive to left field. That'll be in for a hit in front of Mark Krause. Choo gets things started with a single to left.
Defensively for the Astros, behind Brett Oberholzer here this evening in the outfield left side, Mark Krause. In center, Jake Marisnick and Robbie Grossman in right. In the infield left side, it's Matt Dominguez and Marwin Gonzalez. On the right, Jose Altuve and John Singleton. Jason Castro is your catcher.
Inside in air-conditioned comfort, and it's been a scorcher outside. The clouds are dark out there in the distance, but we don't know if they hold much rain or not. Andrus at .274 has 2 homers. He's driven in 30 hitless against Obi in his career, but 13-game hitting streak right now for Elvis Andrus. And he takes that one for a strike.
One of the things that Obi's done really well, Brownie, just 1 walk in each of the last 2 starts, and just 4 walks over the total of the last 4 starts that he's made. So he's throwing strikes, staying ahead on hitters.
Correction, that first pitch was ball 1. Fouled straight back. There's a good cut by Andrus, the talented shortstop with a .274 average, and he has scored 59 runs. Andrus coming off a 2-hit game on Wednesday. During his 13-game hitting streak, he has hit .380. This is his highest batting average since April 22nd. Pushing a bunt. Oberholzer barehanding, throwing, and he got him. Good play. He could not afford a mistake on that one, or Andrus would have beaten it. It's a sacrifice getting Choo to second, 1 out from 1 to 3.
That was a good bunt. And a golden opportunity for Elvis Andrus to beat it out, but for the fine play by Brett Oberholzer. Gets on it with the bare hand and still able to make the accurate throw. And Andrus was doing something a lot of guys don't do. That is that he was running in the baseline. He was not going to get called out on this throw.
Runner at second for JP Arencibia. Choo is that base runner. Arencibia has 7 homers, 26 runs batted in, and a .194 average, but last 10 days he's driven in 11. His batting average was .136 before he heated it up. And the former Toronto Blue Jay takes strike 1. Arencibia was drafted in the first round by the Jays in '07. Texas signed him as a free agent this winter. He has hit 5 of the Rangers' last 9 home runs. 4 homers in his last 12 games. He swings at a down and in pitch, and that makes it 0-2.
That power side is what his game was known to be when he came up as a highly regarded young catcher in the Blue Jays organization. Great power with the bat, and he's starting to flex the muscles once again. See, he's put that right foot right on that inside chalk, back chalk as well. So he's in a position where he's trying to pull the baseball.
It's 1-2. Oberholzer's trying for his first ever win against the Rangers, but he has a career ERA of 2.12 against them in 3 games, 2 as a starter. However, he's 0-2, and he's had that lack of run support going throughout the early stages of his career quite often, unfortunately for him. He breaks that one down and in, and the count is even at 2-2. Obi's gone at least 6 innings in 9 starts in a row now. And he's been up and down between the big league club and AAA Oklahoma City. Began the year in the Astros starting rotation, lost his first 6 decisions. Went to Oklahoma City after his May 6th start, came back May 24th for a couple of starts, back to the minors, 2 starts in the big leagues, back, and now play at second base. Altuve did not go to the base, and he's pointing as if it's his fault for not doing so. He took that throw from behind second.
I think that's a very impressive stat you bring up about the 9 consecutive starts going at least 6 innings. First 7 starts on the year, 0-6. Last 8 he's 4-1. It could be better than that. The ERA 2.5 runs better now over the last 8 starts, and the opponent's batting average reflecting the same direction that Obi's been taking.
Bo Porter has been calling him his 6th starter this year, and that was a part of the depth the Astros felt they had, but now not so much depth after the trade of Jared Cozart to Miami. That's a shot to left field headed for the seats. It is 2-0 Texas. Aaron Sebia belts number 8. That gives him 28 runs batted in. It's only the 8th home run given up by Oberholzer in 91 innings.
You're talking about the way Aaron Sebia has now adjusted in terms of his batting stance. That right foot right to the inside edge of the chalk, so he's as close with the right foot to the plate as he can get, and that leaves, as a hitter, what you do is you spin the hips open, let it fire, and you pull a lot of pitches. Well, it's resulting in home runs for Aaron Sebia.
And there's the most recent one, number 8. On a 2-2 pitch. Now Adrian Beltre comes up. Infield shifts around, playing him to pull. Beltre takes it, and it's ball 1 to the 4-time All-Star. At 319, he's in the batting race in the American League. He has 16 homers. He's driven in 61. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count to the 35-year-old third baseman from Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. He's had some monster RBI years. Drove in 121 with the Dodgers, hitting 48 homers in 04. And that matched with a .334 average. 2 balls and a strike, and he seems to be on a Hall of Fame type path for a third baseman. 2,548 hits, third on the active list behind Jeter and Ichiro. And he's getting close to 400 homers now. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It's funny how little you hear the name Adrian Beltre if you're not a big-time Major League Baseball fan. But this guy is well, he's a huge performer, no doubt, and has been, as you say, for a long time.
Swings at that one, and he's down on strikes. 2 outs.
Right on the hands and up a bit. And Obi got the call on the previous pitch up in the strike zone. Maybe starts this one in that same area to get the bat started.
Adam Rosales is the first baseman tonight. Rosales has filled in capably, hitting .324 with 3 homers, 9 runs batted in, 4 for his last 9.
Look at that OPS over 1,000.
Fouls that one back. Strike 1. Rosales came up with the Cincinnati Reds. He was a shortstop, played some second. Now has moved to first for this Ranger club, and he had his first career 2-home run game on Wednesday against the White Sox on the road. Rosales not chasing there, and it's a 1-ball 1-strike count on him with Leonys Martin on deck.
Got the throwback style, does Rosales, with the pants up near the knees and a lot of socks showing.
That's a good pitch, in for a strike, making it 1-2. David Rackley is the home plate umpire. Adam Rosales, 31 years old, was drafted by the Reds in the 12th round in 2005. They dealt him to Oakland. Texas claimed him on waivers last August. And the flares one over first base near the right field line. That'll loop in for a hit in front of Robbie Grossman. Hit number 3 of the inning for the Rangers.
I don't know if this is who Adam Rosales has turned into offensively, a guy that can flare it down the right field side, but that sure pays big dividends. Pitch trying to get in on the hands, and Rosales just fights it off.
Now the Rangers come out and they strike to a 2-0 lead so far, looking for more with Martin. Martin is a good bunter. He looks at ball 1. 256, 5 homers, 29 runs batted in for Martin. The Rangers began their road trip in Cleveland, where they were swept by the Tribe, then moved along to Chicago. They won 2 of 3 from the White Sox and had an off day yesterday. Fouled away, and it's a 1-ball 1-strike count. Over the years, they have excelled here at Minute Maid Park like no other team, with a 31-18 record, a .633 winning percentage in this venue. Ron Washington has gone to 13 different starting pitchers this season. These two teams last played in Texas July 7th, 8th, and 9th. Fly ball out to center field. Marisnick backing, still going back, and onto the warning track for a long out, number 3. The Rangers get 2 runs on 3 hits and leave a man. It was Aaron Sevilla hitting his 8th. Now, can Chris Carter answer in the bottom of the 1st with Miles Michaelis headed for the mound next? Up with this starting lineup against Miles Michaelis. Brought to you by Jack in the Box. Jose Altuve at second base. Jason Castro batting second. He's the catcher. The DH is Chris Carter. It's Mark Krause in left field. John Singleton first base. Matt Dominguez third base. Robbie Grossman right field. Jake Marisnick center field. Marwin Gonzalez shortstop.
On the mound for these Texas Rangers, 25-year-old right-hander Miles Michaelis. He's from Jupiter, Florida. 1-4 on the year with a 7.29 ERA. And he's lost his last couple of starts Those coming at Cleveland and one against the Oakland A's.
Well, in that loss at Cleveland, he really did fine work. 7 innings of 5-hit, 2-run baseball, losing it 2-0. Nothing to be ashamed about there, actually.
Now, I'm sure he is dying to turn these numbers around with that ERA up over 7. And then you get those nicely pitched outings, couple of runs in 7 innings, and still wind up losing. It's tough when you're playing with a poor club.
Jose Altuve now begins the night sharing the batting lead with Robinson Cano in the American League at .335. Last night before the games there was a 6-point lead for Altuve, but Cano had a big game and Altuve went 0 for 4. The Phillies snapped Altuve's 18-game on-base streak. And with 158 hits, he leads the American League after taking ball 1. Ready now. Grounding this one foul. Matt Listach with the play. 1 ball, 1 strike. Altuve, really outstanding this year, is going to be fighting it out, it appears, with Cano and some others for that, what could be the first ever batting title by an Astro. He's hit .350 against Texas pitching. Lashes this one off. Beltre down on a knee. That ball was blistered for out number 1.
Jose Altuve has been even a bit better at home this year than on the road, and he just gets all of this one. This guy's a slick fielding third baseman, but this ball almost got him in the chest, hooking right at the chest.
Well, that's the way the Astros swung the bats against Michaelis when they faced him in Texas. They really lit him up. That was July 7th. He gave up 12 hits and 9 earned runs in 3 1/3 innings. Houston won the game 12-7. Jason Castro's next up. Michaelis missing. There's ball 1 to a .234 hitting Castro with 11 homers, 43 runs batted in. 3 homers the last 10 games for Jason. Last night while batting second in Philadelphia, he had 2 hits and a walk and scored twice. When he is the number 2 hitter, he's hit .341 in 10 games. That's out of play, and it's a 1 ball 1 strike count to Jason Castro. Michaelis reached up into the high 90s. Steve Busby, the Rangers TV play-by-play guy, was telling us before the game tonight.
Specifically 97. That's impressive stuff. And I would have to say we didn't see that type of arm when he faced the Astros in Arlington.
It's 2-1. Odor, the second baseman, way out into right field with the shift on. Rosales guarding the line at first base. There's the way they line up.
That last pitch, though, right at 95, so obviously he's got a big arm.
He's done better against left-handed hitters. That is a strike. It's 2-2.
A little change piece on the 2-1. And you could see Castro jumping, looking for the fastball.
The Rangers didn't get much of a look this spring at Miles Michaelis, who's 26 years old. He had an elbow problem. Made 6 starts at AAA. Round robin. Now it's a full count to Jason Castro. Michaelis had been a relief pitcher until this year. It looks as if he's trying for that breakthrough impression to be a starting pitcher for the future.
And yet works from the stretch. Yu Darvish does that for the Rangers.
There's a walk to Castro.
Defensively for the Rangers, behind Michaelis, Daniel Robertson in left, Leonis Martin in center, and in right field Shin-Soo Choo. On the infield left side, Adrian Beltre, Elvis Andrus at short. On the right, Rougned Odor and Adam Rosales. And behind the plate, Giovanni Soto just back in action.
This is the first of a 3-game series here. Chris Carter has really lit it up since the 1st of July. With 24 homers, 57 runs batted in, he leads the club. He's hitting .225 now. He's driven in 27 since July 1st. Chops this one in the air. It's a foul ball. Carter with a 2-home-run game at Arlington, Texas, has hit .324 this season against the Rangers. He's now had 5 multi-home run games this season. He did it again last night with the 2 bombs in Philadelphia. Had a pair of 2-run shots and a single, going 3 for 4. That was the 8th career multi-home run game for Chris. He chases that one. It's 0-2, and we've seen a more disciplined Chris Carter the last 5 weeks, who has not been chasing those pitches so often. He's hit 11 homers to lead the majors since July 1st.
Yeah, that last slider that he swung at way off the outside edge is quite a rarity these days for Chris.
Soto will file that one away. Not chasing this time, and it's a 1-ball 2-strike count for Carter. Carter went 1 for 2 against Michaelis when they met in Texas. Chris, since July 1st, has a 1,055 OPS.
Man, that type of a figure maintained over the course of a season, you just might be named the MVP when it's all said and done.
Well, he's really shown a much better side of Chris Carter than we have seen last year in this. Since the 1st of July, tightened up that swing. He's become more selective. Ball's jumping off his bat. 1-2. Hitting coach John Maley has said that Chris is in a very nice work routine before games. He has his preparation, stays in that type of habit, and the results have been fantastic.
Yeah, in fact, he said to me yesterday that Chris has worked his tail off, and it's starting to pay off. But what everybody down there is seeing is that Chris is just simply shorter with that barrel directly to the ball.
Castro draws the throw. Well, without the injured Astros in the lineup, and Dexter Fowler, by the way, is in the lineup tonight in a rehab stint at Oklahoma City as the DH. George Springer is here and had an exam today on that quad. Carter's the number 3 hitter. And a late swing there is a strikeout. That's out number 2.
That's one of those strikeouts. Can happen to anybody at any time. A breaking ball that at the last instant you assess might break back to the strike zone, and just a flick at it swing, maybe trying to foul it.
Mark Krause was 2 for 5 with a homer in the Philadelphia series, getting the cleanup call again tonight.